Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this is 5 cool knives. So it's just a quick look at 5 knives. This is the Kershaw Capsule, and it is an OTF, but it's a manual OTF. It's an Anzo design. It's in simple HCR 13 MOV steel, but this thing's only like 30 bucks, 32 bucks or something like that. So what you have to do is you have to push this button. It's actually a button. So when it's closed or even halfway, you can't like swing it or anything. It won't just swing out. You actually do have to press this button. So when it's all the way closed, you can see when you start opening it, even though it doesn't click back up, you still can't like swing it out or anything. So you do have to continue to push it. And then once it gets to here, pops, locks into place. And I mean, it's pretty strong. I mean, yeah, there's some wiggle, but any OTF, even man or even automatic ones, they have a little bit of play. So no big deal on that. And it's relatively solid for an OTF, especially a manual OTF. Pretty cool though. And it does have a deep carry pocket clip. So you can easily, carry it. It does have a little lanyard tube. This is some sort of FRN plastic. Let's take a look around the sides. Pretty cool though. I do gotta say, I do think it's pretty neat. And it's very simple. I mean, it is very, very smooth, just to have it in your hand and pop it right out. Nice little lanyard thing, so you can have a lanyard hook to it, even dress it up even more. Let's get to the next one. Now, the next knife I did do a review on, but it didn't really get that good of a review. But I do gotta say, it's pretty cool. And I do got to get this back to the owner. I've had his knives entirely way too long. This is the Arcane designed Crawler. Now, this knife is really cool. I mean, it's super smooth. The action is really good. It is extremely well built. I just had some things that I didn't prefer on it. Basically, it's just too thick. That was basically my biggest deal with it. It's got a very thick grind. However, if you're just doing basic EDC tasks, opening things up, cutting some cardboard here and there every once in a while, it's a fine knife. It's a great knife. I just thought it was just a little bit too thick for any real use or long-term use, I should say. But for just basic EDC, obviously it'll work just fine. And it is extremely well built. I mean, everything on it, the fit, the finish, the action is just incredible. Very, very smooth. Does have a titanium frame lock, titanium pocket clip, M390 steel, multiple deployments, wicked looking blade. And the ergos on it, they're different. Because you can see, it does look a little weird, but it is relatively comfortable. Back here, this little spot right there, my pinky really pushes that part up into my palm, and this whole part is nice and comfortable in your hand. So it's pretty cool. And the case is really awesome too. That's another thing. Case is very, very cool. All right, let's get to the next one. So the next one is the Tranchodon by Shielding Knives. Now, I recently got this. It has 9CR Damascus. However, this thing is very well built. I gotta give it that, man. It's very well built. The detent is very heavy, very strong. Nice crisp detent. Yeah, I know it has a big flipper tab, but it kind of needs it because that detent is nice and strong in a good way. You can hear it, and you can still reverse flick it off the fuller. Very cool sheep's foot blade. Nice acute tip. Utility cuts are just amazing with this thing. The ergos are really good on this. It doesn't have a deep carry clip. However, I think that might have been a good idea. I do wish they would have shifted it in here or to the middle instead of off to the side. But by having a non-deep carry clip, if it was a deep carry clip, it would have landed right into my palm. Some people don't mind that, but when you do get some really comfortable contoured, grips that are relatively thick and are for a little bit more harder use, you want them to be comfortable. And this one is pretty comfortable. Like I said, I do wish they would have centered this. The handle material is good looking. It's like a G10 carbon fiber combination. It looks beautiful. And then there's like, if you really look, you might not be able to pick it up, but there's like dimpling that actually adds to the texture. I'm still testing the steel, so we'll see how that goes. You can actually see the core of it right there. So I'm not sure yet. I don't know if it's a powdered 9CR Damascus or not. It does feel like it. They said something like an 87 layer 9CR Damascus. Man, this action is really good. Let's get to the next one. Now this one I did just get, but man, it's pretty cool. This is the Kooby. It's a Manganus design. I think I keep pronouncing his name wrong. I keep saying Manganus. I think it's Manganus design. But sorry, this is the Kooby Valacho. Oh man, Valacho. What the heck was it? The Kooby Veloce. Obviously, I don't write things down. The Kooby Veloce S30V steel titanium frame lock, pretty unique. Amazing action. The action is incredibly. I mean, the detent is very well tuned for both deployments, and there's something very unique about this handle. So you see how it kind of it's skinny right here and then it gets thick down here, right? But what you can't really see, or at least capture that I feel, is how wide it gets right here. So when I'm holding it, it's actually very comfortable how my fingers kind of creep up and down at the same time. Now, in the hand, when I unlock it, your hands naturally go right there. However, the detent is extremely well placed. If you look when I unlock it, look how early the detent is. When you unlock it, you know, it hits the detent ball. And usually when you unlock, you want to make sure it gets past the detent ball so the knife falls, right? Well, this gives you the ability to hold really up high on that lock bar, and it's past the detent. And there's something satisfying about that, and it feels very unique when you unlock it. And you can do it with your pointer finger like that. The blade is awfully thick, especially near the tip. You can see it. However, this is going to be a basic EDC knife. It's not going to be a work knife. It's not going to be a long, hard use, duty knife or anything like that. It's going to be a basic open things up, cut some things every once in a while type of knife. And it works for that just fine. Kind of like the Arcane designs a little bit. But yeah, pretty cool though. It is pretty awesome, and I'm excited to test out Kooby's S30V. I do like some of the patterns here. Very, very nice. And they got a black one, or sorry, yeah, a black hand. How does it go? They have a raw titanium one with a black blade. They have a couple different options, an all black one. It looks slick, I'll say that. All right. Okay, the last one on this list, we have the Meguron Valero. So the Valero is a new knife to me. Now, I am still testing it, but I am liking it quite a bit. I do have one complaint that I am going to address in the review, and I know I'll be able to fix it. But the steel is DC53, I think it's called. Yeah, I think it's DC53. Now that steel is some sort of it's like a harder version of D2. Yeah, DC53. So it's basically like a harder version of D2. So supposedly it's supposed to be easier to heat treat and supposed to give you, a little bit harder steel. So maybe possibly longer edge retention. I don't know. I'm still testing it. However, this thing's like $35, something like that. It's under $40. Or no, wait, maybe it's $45. I think it's around $45, but very good deal for this. This thing is pretty nice for that amount of money. So very budget friendly, very comfortable in the hand, very nice and comfortable in the hand. It does have a titanium milled clip that does work pretty well. Great access to the lock bar. Another thing I really appreciate about this knife. Then it has multiple deployments. We have the flipper tab and the fuller for reverse flick. Now, the geometry is decent. It's not a super slicer, but it's not a hard use knife. It's just right there in the middle, which winds up becoming a really good EDC grind. I will be changing the angle when I do sharpen this steel up to give it a little bit better performance, which it will get. Nice G10 scales, or scales over the steel liners. It's all PVD coated. And then we have T8 hardware. Now, the one problem I have with this knife is the detent is light. But this is the kind of knife that will be a very easy fix. I'll be able to, I like the sound of it too, but I'll be able to increase the strength of that lock bar just a little bit. And I will show in the video or in the review how to do that, so that if you did want to pick one of these up and yours came a little bit light in the detent, then you can, increase it yourself. Now, it's not so light to where I can't just deploy it, anytime I want to. I mean, obviously, I'm sitting here deploying it, and it works really good. However, the fuller is deep enough. You see how deep that fuller is. I mean, it's a really deep fuller. So you have plenty of grip on this fuller. I can even thumb flick it. So I would rather have the detent increased on the flipper tab. You see how weak it is. Like I said, I can reliably flip it, but it'd be nice to have a little bit harder break on that flipper tab. And it's so easy to fix. I'm going to take it apart, bend the lock bar a tiny bit. It'll be super easy. I'll probably be able to do it all within 3 minutes. And yeah, and then we'll see how this action is after that. I have suspicion that it's going to be a lot better. And like I said, I've been enjoying this quite a bit. It's nice and comfortable. It does slice pretty good. The tip is nice and strong while still being nice and acute for utility cuts. Just a great overall blade shape. We'll see how the PVD coating holds up after some, a little bit harder use. But yeah, there you guys go. 5 cool knives today. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.